is live on Facebook. Hi, I'm Lorelei Edwards, and this is Shayla Miller. And this is live from Studio Venus, named because this is my studio, named Venus. So we're just going to talk to Shayla a bit today. Her and I have known each other, we were trying to think, like 15 years or something, when you were just wee.
I was, yeah. Even yet, it was longer, maybe even.
Was it? Yeah.
17, yeah.
Big chunk out of 20 anyways,
yeah.
But yeah, I met you down at the old Tongue and Groove. Yeah. So how, sort of speaking of that, or maybe even going farther back, actually, let's talk about you a bit more, about,
okay, sure.
about who you are and where you're at and what you do and that kind of thing. So, you born in Lethbridge?
No, Victoria. I was born in Victoria. I moved here with my family halfway through grade 5, and then moved back to Victoria kind of on and off a few times, and have been here pretty much since I was 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so why'd you stay?
Well, I guess I was 17 when I came back. I was 16 when I went to Victoria again for a year. 17, my dad got really sick and I came back for that. And then when I came back, I kind of found my groove at the Tongue and Groove. And found my music and arts community here that I didn't know before that existed. I was too young to be in bars and stuff, and I had kind of snuck into the Starlight Lounge a few times, but I was like...
The Starlight Lounge was this fantastic little lounge, just...
Well, what is it called now? What Boss Hog? Well,
Boss
Hog's on one...
Yeah,
Boss Hog's is on one side, but then the smaller one, it's been so many names, like Tequila Tracks.
That's true.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is now, but it was this beautiful little rough space, right? Because you could tell it was sort of, you know, I don't know, it just had this wonderful feel about it. Not rough, I mean rough more in, it wasn't this slick little lounge, you know, because Starlight Lounge could sound a bit, but it just had...
Yeah, but no, it wasn't. It was, I don't know. I mean, at that time, it was more like the cool thing. It was like more hippie kind of vibe, grungy, hippie, I don't know. Yeah.
Alternative,
whatever.
Yeah.
Hippie. So stupid. I hate that term, but you know what I mean.
I know.
Yeah.
But, okay, so you sort of, you know, snuck into the lounges, heard the music. Yeah. Growing up, what'd your parents play?
In the house, both my parents loved country music.
Yeah.
All the classics, like Patsy Cline, and I remember listening to a lot of Everly Brothers, Simon and Garfunkel. What else do we listen to? They listened to a lot of stuff I didn't want to listen to, like Garth Brooks and stuff like that, and Shania Twain.
That real 90s country.
And some of the 90s stuff I do like. They listened to Dwight Yoakam, which I still love.
Yeah.
Mavericks, Prairie Oyster, but yeah, most of it I didn't like. But the old stuff I loved. And then when I started to play music, I first found, when I was listening to a lot of music, I was listening to more heavy stuff like punk and industrial music and stuff. So when I started to pick up guitar and play and write, I was playing acoustic and I was kind of writing this dark folk kind of stuff. And then when I wrote my first country song, it was called The Country Love Song, because I didn't think I was ever going to write another country song.
Just the only one.
Country Love Song, yeah. And I still play that song live. People still like it and want to hear it. It's kind of funny because it was the first country song. I never thought that I'd be like, oh, this is my new, I found it.
I found my genre.
Yeah. Country music. Who knew?
What was the first song on there that you just loved, that you learned on guitar? Was there the song that when you know,
let me see.
It seems what is it? Smoke on the Water, right?
Oh,
every teenage song.
I definitely learned
that.
Smoke on the Water. I learned, the first song I learned how to play and sing at the same time was Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
Oh,
It's just easy for me to, because it's actually really hard. Do you play guitar at all?
I don't.
It's really quite hard to, it's like patting your belly and
just
whatever.
When you said that.
Yeah, it's really hard to sing and do that at the same time and keep the rhythm.
Right.
You know, obviously after many years of doing it, you don't think about it, but at the beginning, to cross that threshold at the beginning is really, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard for bass. I can play a little bit of bass, and as soon as I can't do it. It's what is going on here?
Well, why? Just
it's
because
different, because with the rhythm, the bass is but it's keeping the beat more. So it's like really, it's like a whole different animal than playing like what you're singing, the melody, you know?
Right.
And when you're playing bass, it might kind of be a little, I don't know, it's just really, it's totally different. Yeah. Same with drummers. When drummers sing and play, I mean, yeah.
I can't even imagine. Yeah. How.
I mean, after a certain amount of time, you get it, but it's just funny after all these years of doing that I can't do other instruments and do it. And, you know, I can play piano a bit too, and I'm like, I can barely get something out.
It's funny, right? It's also funny though how fast our brains adjust.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, our
especially
brains
as a kid or as a teenager, and you're just like absorbing it all.
Yeah.
Which I'm watching Jackson do right now. I got him a drum kit for
Christmas.
Jackson's my son. Yeah.
And how old did he just turn?
One of those cameras is off.
Huh?
That one's supposed to be off.
Oh, damn. I don't think it is off.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. I think it's just, oh, no, you're right.
We noticed the camera is off, so.
Yes, a little in. You go ahead and see. You should have brought your guitar. You could just sing or something.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'll just
sorry,
keep
folks.
Talking about Jackson here for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jackson is my son. He's 10, and he started playing bass when he was 8, I think, or he might have even been 7. He was playing piano when he was 6. Switched to bass when he was 7.
Wow.
And he never liked piano. He was good at it, but he just was more of a little rocker. And now he plays guitar a little bit too. Shreds on the guitar, actually. And then he's like, Mom, am I a better guitar player than you? I'm like, sometimes. Like, some things you do. Like, holy crap. And then we got him a drum set for Christmas, and he's just been
eating that up.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Oh, that's
and
so
I love hearing it. Like, I wanted a drum kit when I was a kid, and my dad always said, like, no, we can't have that. We can't listen to that.
Right. Which, if he'd given you a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably could have.
Anyway.
All right.
That's another story. But anyway, it's nice to hear Jackson playing and just seeing his mind absorb it. That's how we got onto that. Because kids just absorb and learn and can do so much.
Yeah.
So much easier for them to learn things. Like, our minds are stuck in
little You just pockets. Wait. My mind's like 20 years older than you. You just wait another 20 years. You'd be like, huh? Trying something new is a feat in itself. But, okay, so you kind of grew up with some of the country, some you like, some you didn't like. So, obviously, because your music now definitely has a honky-tonk vintagey feel. Yeah. Right? And so it seems like when you mention those that you liked, that makes sense. Yeah. And so, but when you got here, and where I get started and listening to alternative and first started playing, when did you make the switch? When did you?
I was probably like 18. Well, when I started playing with Corey Estes, you remember him?
Right, I
and
do.
Dave Foley.
I do.
We started this, I don't even know what you want to call it. It was like I don't know. It was kind of
a trio.
Almost, it was a trio, but it was almost like a loud kind of ruckus bluegrass or something.
Oh,
like
really?
Do you remember Los Sangriels?
Not really, no.
I played mandolin and guitar, and Corey played guitar, and Dave switched between banjo and dobro. So we just like, I don't know. That's probably when it started, having those
you got to play,
in
right?
the band. Yeah, and those guys really liked a lot of that old stuff too, and that, you know, influenced me for sure, being around them. That they were older than me. I was just so young, and they were like 26, so old at the time.
But when you think of it now, like that is crazy.
Well, I'm like 18, and they're like 27, 28. I'm like, these guys are
now
so old.
Oh
man, to be 26 again.
I know, right?
So old.
I like 36. Even 46 was really good.
Nice.
But 30s are sweet. Because you've like got your shit together a little bit, but you're still like really open to everything. And like it just, you accept yourself more, I think, in your 30s and 40s even more so. My mom's has a thing that she says every decade she actually enjoys more. Oh yeah. So she's in her 70th decade. Oh wow. But she said, because I said, well, 70 doesn't sound that old to me anymore. Not like when it used to, you know, be like 100 years. I remember someone was 30 and I just thought, oh my gosh, she doesn't have kids. Like, what the hell is she going to do with her life? Like, But yeah, I think Mom says 70 still sounds old, but she doesn't feel like she's 70.
Yeah.
So there's sort of that weird, but anyways, age, right?
Well, I guess because when we're young and we think about these old ages as being so old.
Yeah.
Once you actually get there, you're like, this isn't actually that old. I'm still me.
I know. And I still got it going on.
Yeah. I still got to do all the things, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, age is a
interesting,
funky thing.
Yeah, it is.
So when did you kind of go solo, or was that kind of just a...
I had a band after Les Sangreals called Red Wine Smile with Dave and Earl
I
McCauley.
loved that. Actually.
You loved that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That was fun. And after that ended, I can't remember what happened exactly. I think Dave was going back to school. Earl was kind of in Lethbridge sometimes and not. And then I decided, like, enough with the band names, because I'm sick of, like, every time my band ends, having to be like Shayla Miller of Les or Red Wine Smile with Shayla Miller of Les Sangreals or whatever. Like, it's just so stupid. It's like, just be your name if you're the songwriter. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And then it's like whatever outfit you have after that, it's the Shayla Miller band or support or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And then I've been with the same guys for a long time now, like a really long time. And many times we've talked about, like, what should it be, Shayla Miller and the What's? Because you guys were such an integral part of my sound that I want you guys to have a name, you know? And for a while let's just do Shayla Miller Band. It's like, okay, whatever. And then I dropped the band because I just thought it's like, that's too just like, it's annoying. It's like, people know me enough to, whoever's listening to me, it's like, if you're seeing Shayla Miller, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, she's with her band. I don't like playing solo. I don't like playing as a duo. No. I will, but it's much preferred. My sound is better with a band. So anyway, then it was like, what should we call you guys? And they were just like, we tossed around a few names. They're like, that's stupid. Okay, well, they're like, we don't need a name, Shayla. I'm like, okay.
Perfect.
Right, guys? You don't need a name? I guess I should say their names now. Yeah. Tyler Bird has been playing with me for years on drums, and he sings harmonies with me. Paul Holden has been my bass player for many years. And then Ryan Dick, Skinny Dick, is my pedal steel player for years. And my guitar players have changed a bit. Taylor Ackerman for a long time, Evan Yushenko for a long time, John Martin for a long time. And as of right now, I'm kind of up in the air with the guitar player. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, obviously there's no gigs right now, so
I know,
I'm not really worrying about it. But
well, that was going to be one of my questions is, how are you playing now? How are you surviving? Because, I mean, I hear so many people who are musicians or artists or any kind of sort of the different arts where you need an audience.
Yeah.
That it's, and some of the shows that I watch on television that used to be live, and then they're trying to just do them, it shows the real interaction that a crowd brings to what you're doing.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Not having that is crazy. I mean, when we played 2 live stream shows, like do-it-yourself live stream shows, and not totally by ourselves. We had help, but like, and then we did one big one from Calgary Folk Fest, like in their like whatever, they had all the sound people and whatever. But in all 3 of those shows that I've played this year, it was bizarre. Like the last, we just did one in December called the Pink Christmas Holiday Special.
Because she was in front of her pink Christmas tree, which I really would like to see in person. It just looks so beautiful.
Next year, I hope. I took it down already. I've been on the ball. Anyway, sometimes my Christmas shit is up till February.
Yeah, just start putting some hearts on, right? The kids go to school and make hearts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's our Valentine's Day.
It's up the whole year.
Sorry.
It's just hard. It was really hard to perform and not have that energy that you soak in, from the people, and just to not have applause, all that kind of thing. You know that they're watching, that, and then you get to read through after all the comments and like, that was amazing, or like, thank you for playing that song, and all these things that I just like, I'm like glowing, and it's, but it's really hard at the time to be like, hope you like that one. I don't know. But by the time we did this Christmas one, we kind of dialed in. I'm like, I know people are watching. It's fun. Yeah. We're having a good time. Thank you for tuning in, whoever tuned in.
Well, it's fun with the podcast we have now because we're on live on Facebook, but then we also have it on YouTube and the podcast. So there's like these different ways that you get to take something in, which I think is kind of neat. Yeah. Because I think sometimes having just the podcast too without the visuals can be really interesting, right? Hearing people's voices.
Absolutely. I finally started to listen to podcasts and I've been really enjoying it.
It's kind of addicting. Yeah. Like I had to, because I would be in the studio, instead of having my music on, I would put a podcast on. And so then I started to all of a sudden miss my music though, right? It was like, no, I got to make sure I don't just be podcasting it up, but they're fun. There's some good stuff out there, and there's Shayla Miller there. So.
That's nice.
So sorry. So we were on to your second album, I think. We're kind of going through, and you were.
Oh yeah. Then we did the Shayla Miller 3. Oh yeah, we were the threesome.
Yeah, threesome. Right, threesome.
Right, I forgot about that. So we were the threesome right after Red Wine Smile. Yeah. And that was me and Paul and Tyler, and then I dropped that, and then I started working with Treeline. That's what happened.
Right.
So Treeline had made their first album with an artist from Edmonton, Sean Brewer, and it was Treeline with Sean Brewer. And then they toured that album and did all that, and then wanted another artist, and we were already playing together. I was already dating Ryan at the time. Tyler was in Treeline, also in my band. Taylor was in Treeline, also in my band. And we're like, I wonder what artist Treeline should make their next album with. This is maybe a little obvious. So we just decided, let's do this. And it was really fun because Ryan and I were together, and Ryan was the main singer in Treeline. Tyler sang a bit, and Taylor did too. But we wrote a bunch of duets. And we were going through a big hiccup, so we had a lot of really cool duets that were like
a little Fleetwood Mac vibe.
Oh yeah. So it was like pretty fun. I loved doing that, and we toured that one all the way to Ontario. That's the only time I've played in Ontario. I mean, having kids and being a touring artist is hard. Yeah, you can't always go for that long, right? Yeah. But at the time, I only had Jackson, and Jackson, his dad. Is from England, and he takes him to England once a year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he goes for 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks every year. Not this year, but he's gone like 10 times almost to England. Yeah,
that's great.
So I would make at those times before I had Lucia, which is my daughter. We would book our tours during when Jackson was in England, so it would be fine. We'd do one long one, and then we'd just do like weekends throughout the year. Yeah. And that would be okay because we have a lot of support around here with our parents and stuff like that. But we did a lot of stuff with that album. And then after that, that was when it was like I had Lucia, and then I had to take a break. Yeah. And when I came back from that, that's when I released Bad Ideas, and here I am almost releasing Big Hair, Small City.
But you had in Bad Ideas, wasn't there the one, or wasn't there? Because I was thinking of one I think I made a note. The Color My Love. Was that
right, yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that one we got a grant to make a music video for that song. Which really is cool. Lovely. It's really pretty. Yeah.
I'll put a link underneath so that people can get it. We'll put a link to your website too. So people can.
My website is under I was gonna say it's under destruction.
That's because there's the truth, right? A little Freudian slip there.
Yeah, that's like it is under destruction right now. Truly, it's under construction, but it's more like destruction. We're changing a whole bunch of stuff, trying to rebrand for the new album and stuff. But you could maybe just put a link from my other page.
And I took a boot today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I thought, it was definitely under destruction.
Yeah.
but there were some great, links there and information. So,
good.
You can read a little bit more about her. Like, I think you've got a nice little, biography on there.
Oh, yeah, okay,
I thought,
I'm not sure what. I haven't been looking at it. I hired someone to do it, and I don't want to know.
Oh, no, it's looking okay.
Oh, okay.
You're all right. So do you want to talk about? Well, you know what? Let's talk about the video before we
sure,
go on to the next album. So tell me about that grant and the process. And
do you remember when Telus was doing those Story Hive grants? Yeah, that's what it was. So Laura Comden, who is the director and writer of the story of the video, producer, whatever, all the things, all the hats. She was a fan of mine, and I didn't know who she was, and she saw me play at South Country Fair, and she heard me play that song, and at first she wanted to do it to an older song of mine, Lonely, but I was like, that song's so old, and I'm just about to release a new album. Why don't I send you my new songs before they're released, and pick a song that speaks to you, if at all, and if it does, then we'll go forward with it. Yeah. So then she did that, and she came back right away and was like, oh my gosh, Color My Love. She's like, I remember hearing you play this at South Country Fair, and I cried, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for so long, and this is the song. And I'm like, okay, let's do it.
I have goosebumps everywhere. I've cried to that song too. That's nice. It's just
a sad song.
It is a sad song, but I find a lot of your songs really emote emotion. Yeah. I mean, music does anyway, but there's always something sort of in the song that's really rooted in an emotion that goes through it. So whether it's a happy emotion or heartbreak or whatever, right?
It's all the things.
It's all the things. It's all the things. And so now we've got Big Hair, Small City. Yeah. And that is getting released in the near future,
in a couple months, yeah. So I've mastered it, and I need to remaster it now, so it's a bit delayed, but...
Oh, you musicians and your remastering and needing this. And...
It's like, actually, how about this now? So, whatever.
But it's crazy. A really fun single. It is out, right? The single is out.
The single's out, and the second single, 700, is out, which I probably released at the wrong time, right at the end of the year, and all the radio stations are doing wrap-ups of the year and stuff, but that's okay. 700 is a great song.
It is a great song.
Yeah, thank you.
And isn't it 700 love song? No, what is a 700 again?
Well, there's a whole bunch of 700 things in it, but
because I thought one was a country song or something, or 700 love songs, or
700 number one hit songs I need to write. That's one of the lines.
That's I guess what I was thinking. Yeah, I got it mixed up, but.
Yeah, there's a lot of 700s in there, and that song came about because I was just like sitting with my friend and like, I have to wear all the hats. There's 700 things going on all the time. There's 700 children in my house. There's 700 things to do, and I don't know where 700 came from. Just ranting. Yeah. And then at the end, he didn't say anything. It was just like, and then at the end of it, I was just like, that's a song. Yeah. And that's a song that I have to write now.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Okay, Shayla. Yeah. Nice. And then I wrote it. Yeah. So I'm happy with it.
And was it was the Big Hair one? There's got to be like Dolly Parton influence in there somewhere.
Well, that came from Blue Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first time we did a photo shoot, he said to me something along the lines of, he's like, you've got the Big Hair, Small City vibe written all over you kind of thing. Oh. And I was just like, what the fuck? Yeah. I don't know what to swear. What the hell? I'm like, that's insane. That's like the best way to sum up my vibe ever. So I said that, and then he brought me a picture of myself framed from the thing and wrote like on a paper towel, like, Big Hair, Small City, like, never give up, all that kind of thing, you know? And I was like, man, that's so nice. And I still have it, and I was like, I gotta write this song now because I want to name my album this because it's so brilliant and just whatever. Summarizing how I feel about me and my life. So I wrote it. I actually wrote it on the piano. Oh, my drunken sounding, out of tune, honky tonk piano, drunken sounding because I'm not that good. It's like, I'm okay, but when I sing, like I was saying before, when I sing and play it, it's not the best. So, anyway,
Is that the first and only song you've written on the piano, or?
That is the first and only song, yeah. I mean, I've written songs without lyrics. I have lots of songs that I play. Yeah. Ryan calls one my opus, my life's work. It goes on and on and on and on and on. My kids are like, Mom! It's like, okay, I'll stop. Like, and I get really into it, and I get on the sustain pedals, and I'm like, it's like, whatever. But that is the first song I've written with lyrics, yeah.
Yeah. And will it be the last, or?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you
I love
enjoy
playing
it.
piano.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And submitted it to?
Submitted it to my songwriting club that I have to write a song a month for, or I have to pay $100. There's a whole bunch of us in it. I say I have to pay $100, but no one's ever paid.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging still.
Yeah.
That's kind of the rules, but we just
get some stuff
get something out there. There's like 10 people in the club now. It started with just Stephen Ford and I were like needing a fire under our asses to write some more.
I remember him saying that now, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And it was just us for a long time. And then Carolyn Mark joined about 8 months later, and it's 8 songs later, you know. It's been 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
So that's a lot of songs. So a lot of my songs off Big Hair Small City, the album, were written in Song Club. Big Hair Small City was written in Song Club. The song. 700 was. Like 7 or so songs on the album were written in Song Club, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I have a whole other album that I...
Already?
Oh, yeah. Like, because of, like, the Song Club is awesome, man. Like, when you have hundreds. I have to write them, you know, and sometimes I definitely phone it in sometimes. Like, you know, like, this song's called Sunglasses. This song's called The Shitty Birthday Blues. Yeah. You know, like, that's not, I'm not doing anything with it. No. But it was, like, fun to write. Carolyn's like, I was standing in line on the ferry in BC when I listened to that song, laughing. I'm like, good. Well, you know, they're joke songs or whatever, but it's still, the purpose is to, like,
keep that practice.
You know, you're an artist, you know, and sometimes you get stuck in your rut and you maybe don't finish things, and it feels like shit, because you're like, I'm not doing what I'm the too soon editor, like throwing away a painting before it's done and being like, no, this sucks, or, you know, I find as a writer, as a songwriter, I do that all the time. And when I talk to other songwriters, that seems to be their biggest issue, especially aspiring songwriters that are like very new into it. And I was like that when I first started writing. You write like a verse and you're like, can't go further, and then you just play that part over and over again until you're sick of it and you're like, screw this song, you know? Yeah. So anyway, it gets us out of that horrible cycle of just like not writing. Like, I can go for a year and not write a song. Yeah. If it wasn't for the songwriting club, seriously, it's just, and to have the support of our peers, John Warhanam's in it now, Carter Felker, like, there's so many people in the community that we've all known each other for a long time, and now we're like sharing such a vulnerable thing together as like your raw songs that you just like played into your phone. Yeah. Like, here. Like,
but it's amazing to have that feedback and
it is.
And camaraderie and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's, I guess I got off topic, but that is a big part of, I guess, this album, because if it wasn't for that, I don't know. I can't imagine stopping it. Like, I haven't submitted my song for this month yet, so I'm late. I'm like super late. But every single day, go to write my song, my song. And if it wasn't for that, I would be like, I'm busy. I'm not writing a song. I'm way too busy.
No, it's true.
I'm painting my kitchen. You know, like, whatever.
It's one of the reasons I like to work collectively, actually, because it's sort of, you're working with someone else, and so it's sort of this, even my mom and I are painting now, and we're coming in once or twice a week, and it's just sort of nice having that practice for your art practice, right? So you do need to practice over and over in order to hone your skill, right? And so, I don't know, it's so necessary, and sometimes I think I know, especially as a visual artist, there's lots of times where it's like the night before and I'm like cramming stuff, right? Because although one thing I think with artists is we always are thinking, right? Like, we're always thinking, we're always observing, we're always thinking of things in a different way, or how to process them, or all those different things that are happening, right? And so sometimes when you're doing something at the last minute, it's not really last minute, because you've been going through it, and you've worked it out, and you're figuring things out, and so when it comes to it, you're actually just doing something you could probably tell someone else to do, because it's just a literal,
and it's coming out of you, and it's been building up. Like, that's every artist I know, it's like, this is our outlet, right? And it's like, I said just to Ryan the other day, I said, he has a songwriting club too, by the way, that he wouldn't let me join, which is why I started the song club. So his song club
what a brat.
Well, he was in it at the time. They've grown it a little bit, but at the time it was his two friends from, I'm friends with them too, but his two oldest friends from high school.
They've been doing
and they were kind of like, Sheila, she can't join her group.
Oh no.
Sheila, like more. I think it was more that they were like I feel safe to share my raw material with you, but I don't want,
which is fair.
That's totally fair. So I said, no, that's fine. It's fine. It's all good. And he was just kind of like,
I'll start a better one.
Yeah, and I just said, I want to start one because I think I saw how good it was for him. And he had been going on for like a year. Yeah. And I was like, I need to start one. I talked to Steve, and him and I had already talked lots about songwriting over the years and how we both get stuck in ruts. And I was like, this will grab us out of it. Yeah. And it was like, okay, let's do it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, I was just saying to him the other day, because he was saying, like, I submitted my song. Have you submitted yours yet? Because both our clubs are due on the 1st. And I was like, no, man, I have not submitted my song yet. And his is they've actually charged their people $100 before for being late. We haven't. We're pretty relaxed and, like, understanding of what's going on. Because everyone's trying. So. Yeah. Anyway.
No, but it's sometimes, like you say, you get in ruts or whatever, right? And even if it's a shitty song in the end, you've pulled something out.
You did it, and you finished it to completion. Yeah, that was kind of my thought that I was saying before that I got lost on. But to finish a song to completion, even if you're not proud of what you did, you should be proud that you finished a song to completion. You didn't just stop and be like, this sucks, I suck, I'm 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I hear my kids say that, and he's like, I suck. And I'm like, don't say that, honey, But you sink back into that with your own insecurities and your art and stuff. I feel like we still do that. And anyway, it's good to finish anything that you're doing to completion.
It is. It's very satisfying.
Completion.
However,
I just like saying that.
Completion.
It's so sexy.
Really?
Finish to completion.
It's got to be a t-shirt now. Got to be a t-shirt. Actually, that is sexy now that I'm like,
I kept saying completion. Wait. I'm like, stop saying completion. Stop saying
completion. Oh dear. Oh darn, I lost my train of thought now. Well, I was going to say I'm a writer as well, but I don't write songs. And I used to find when I first started writing it really hard to go back and edit. Like, no, I meant it like this. That's why I wrote it that way. It somehow came in through me, and I wrote it that way, and I'd have a hard time going in and being able to edit it. Okay. And it is something that you learn, right, is sort of how to do it and what to do it. Is that something, like, because I'm not a songwriter, is it that same way with songwriting?
I guess sometimes if it's, like I, say before we went into the studio this last time, there was a couple songs that were still pretty fresh. Yeah. And I ran them by Ryan, and I just said, like, what do you think of this part of this line? And it's more when someone else says something like, I feel like that line doesn't make sense there, and it should be, well, this song was written for women, Ryan, and of course you don't understand why that line's there, And then he was like, oh my gosh, he could laugh it off, he could deal with me. He's just like, okay, well, that's my point of view. Just leave the song, it's fine, Sheila, Yeah. So I guess when other people critique, and then I'm asking them. Well, I don't think you quite understand it then. And
obviously you don't see my vision.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think it's a little bit different with songs, I guess. Because they don't really have to, unless it's like a story song. Yeah. Where it's like the way, like, a lot of songwriters write in that more storytelling way, which I do a little bit, but it's pretty vague and it's very riddled with metaphors. Mm-hmm. So it's subject to however you interpret it. And
and maybe there's
different for an individual, each person.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And I like songs like that because someone can be like, I feel like that song is about this, and I'm like, that song totally could be about that. Yeah. It wasn't what I was thinking of, but that, and I think that's cool because that's what makes a song, that's what makes it, what's the word? Relatable to each individual person, that they can, I relate to your music so much, and I think leaving it more vague instead of sticking it into anything, like if it's a story, then you're listening to the story exactly how it's told, and that's a skill, and that's very interesting and cool. But to be a little bit looser about it, you get to have more people be able to relate to it and help them through their whatever, if it's them. You know what I mean?
Well, I think maybe any artist like that, and it, like you say, there's other songs, other artists like Bruce Springsteen or something, right? Is like follows like this story that goes on and on and on. But so I think there's different arts that kind of go the same way, perhaps. But I know with my art too, even though it's very central focused, it's meant to be something that is very open to people, so that they can take what they want from it. I don't know if it's always successful, but I think with all arts, even if it's something that's purely for us, there is something out there that other people can take from it.
Totally.
Just because we all have different experiences.
Exactly.
If we all had the same experiences, that would be crappy.
Oh yeah.
We wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
Like what amazing if we're all attracted to the same person, that'd be shitty too.
Yeah, it'd be really fucking
competitive.
kind of person.
Yeah.
Oh, so I did ask you. Oh, with the I know touring is, like we talked about, is pretty much non-existent. Have you tried playing at any spaces that have, with everybody all far apart?
Well, I did. Have you heard of the curbside concerts that started?
Sort of.
Matt Masters started this concert group. What concert group? More like I don't know what it's called. But artists are kind of hired under this curbside concerts to go and say you wanted to have, you would go to Curbside Concerts website and pick their roster of artists and say, I want Shayla Miller to come to my backyard or my curbside, safely distanced from everybody, and I would come with a little PA and I would play for you, and then your job as the person that's hired this act, you can tell your neighbors and be like, come and join, come outside, come outside in your own front yards, and you'll be able to hear her, and she's playing on a PA kind of thing. So I only did one of those, and I was game to do more, but the weather started changing. It was awesome. Yeah? It was kind of like, ooh, what is this going to be like? Yeah, I don't want to do this. Yeah. And Tyler did it with me. We did it as a duo. Yeah. That's another great thing about Tyler Bird, my drummer. He also plays guitar and bass and everything else. So when I do a duo, he usually comes with me because he sings with me, and we just are so close. And does he play guitar? He played guitar with me then, yeah. Anyway, so we brought the PA and we set up, and it was so hot. It was like 33 degrees out or something. And we've managed to find a tree to set up under, and it was great. And they all tipped us. We made money from the company that hired us, and then also the tips, and sold merch. Oh, it was awesome. Well, I think too there is, for one thing, people are like desperate for art. Yeah. Desperate for music and art. And Lethbridge is, it's got music going on all the time. Yeah. Like live music is happening sort of everywhere. Totally. In the summer, there's all kinds of different festivals going on with music. Mm-hmm. And then there's neighborhoods that are putting on festivals, and totally. There's just always a lot of music going on in Lethbridge, I find. Now you probably know. Oh, I think there is. It is like that in Lethbridge. Yeah. It's not like that. I mean, they do have a really cool folk fest in Medicine Hat, but for cities that are pretty similar in size and pretty close together, the amount of art community and music community that's going on in Lethbridge compared to Medicine Hat is pretty crazy. Yeah. Especially music. They have a cool art scene there, but know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very different.
No.
And Red Deer has music a bit, but like, I think Red Deer is different because it's like so close to Calgary and Edmonton that it doesn't have the type of community that we have down here because we're so much further away from everything. Yes, Calgary's only 2 hours away, but we're pretty secluded, and people who are here kind of here to stay. A lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, if, you know, you might be raised in Red Deer and be like, oh, I'm going to go to Calgary for university, and then want to stay in Calgary or Edmonton or further. Yeah. So I only bring up those two cities because they're like a similar size.
Lethbridge in our province.
Yeah. Music and art community is huge, and it's talked about lots through all the musicians that I know all throughout Alberta.
Yeah, is that right? Hey?
And further, like people, hosting the Windy City Opry.
Yeah.
And even working out music venues all these years, I've met so many artists from all over the country, and they always say, like, Lethbridge is one of our favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the audience.
Yeah, you know? We do. That's why I always feel bad when we have like a freaking amazing act, but it's like on a Wednesday or something, and you go down to watch them, and like there's and I'm just like, people are missing this, and I miss them all the time because I'm such a homebody, but it is. There's just so many amazing acts that are
Lorelei, I remember a time when you were always out. It's
I know.
You can be a homebody. You've supported a lot of music.
Well, it is. You do feel it is hard though.
Yeah.
There are people out, but yeah.
No,
there was a time I was out way too much.
Well, I just remember serving you a long time ago.
Over serving me.
I know. I was certainly doing that.
Talking about Windy City
Opry,
Yeah. So how did that start? And what is that for people who haven't heard about it?
The Windy City Opry is a concert. Should I talk to this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Windy City Opry is a little concert series that happened the second Wednesday of every month at the Slice. And it started.
And the Slice, for those that don't know, is just a local bar here that has always been known for the live music. Yeah. Very strong live music venue.
Yeah. So it started 4 years ago. This would have been the 4-year anniversary.
Aww.
In December. I know. But then we stopped right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was almost kind of thinking like maybe it's time to start this again because live music was starting to happen, even with like the Shields. I was like, let's do it. We'll keep it just one act and keep it low key.
Yeah.
But then COVID numbers are rising again, and I just said, well, we're gonna just keep this. We gotta follow the rules and just stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Boots and the Hoots. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're a band originally from Red Deer, and now I think most of them, one's in Drumheller, Boots, and the other two are in Calgary. But Boots is a friend of mine, and his band, Boots and the Hoots, they're all friends of mine, but they started this Opry night called the Pinecone Opry in Red Deer, and it was super fun.
Okay.
And it had been going on for a couple years, 3 years maybe before I started this, and Ryan and I were driving back from Red Deer from the Pinecone Opry playing, and we're talking like, man, Lethbridge should have something like this.
Yeah.
Like, totally. Who's gonna host it? Ryan just looks at me. I wonder. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah. I'll take it on.
Yeah, and then we just kind of let's like brainstorm the whole way home, and what should we call it? And Windy City Opry.
And why did you come up with that name?
I wonder. Yeah.
That's where just like windy capital of.
Yeah, so windy.
Yeah.
So yeah, we decided to do it on a Wednesday, the second Wednesday of the month, because we would get better acts if we did it for a few reasons. Because we'd get better acts, because like whoever, Tequila Mockingbird Orchestra, let's just pull them out of the whatever.
Yeah.
They're probably on a Friday or Saturday already booked in Calgary or Edmonton.
Yeah.
But on a Wednesday, they're looking for these gigs. And I know from a touring act that I don't tour hugely like some people do because of my kids and stuff. But when I do go on these 2-week jaunts here and there, those days are the hardest to fill.
Right.
Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. It's easy to find those gigs because there's music venues in bigger cities that are grabbing, there's so many places to play. But when you're traveling to and fro, and it's like you don't want to have 3 days off in the middle of your tour, you want to have
so you can grab somebody that's going through. Who's amazing.
So we could get somebody, and so then we decided to start it at 8:00 sharp.
Yeah.
Because
Wednesday,
and the Slice and other music venues sometimes in Lethbridge over all the years, not just the Owl and the Slice, but start bands really late. Yeah. And it's fine. I like partying late.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it in the middle of the week,
yeah,
and the kind of crowd I wanted to attract, any crowd I wanted all the people to come, but like come and listen.
Yeah.
Let's get drunk after.
Yeah.
The show's done at 10:30, just when you're starting to get a little bit buzzed, whatever. The band's off, then let's talk and chit chat, let's be here to watch the band, dance if you want, whatever. But I just was trying to create more of a listening kind of audience vibe, even though we're in a bar.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like super anal, but like all the time. But like there were times.
But
like it was. Yeah, I just wanted it to be kind of like a folk club vibe.
Yeah.
But not quite.
No.
In a bar. But, anyway, it has been fun. I'm not going to say it was fun because I want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I just have to wait until the time is right again.
Yeah. Which hopefully won't be too far because it would be nice, even though you haven't sort of gone this year, you should be able to count to 5 years.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
even if it's on the second Wednesday in December, we'll have to
That's right.
have a celebration.
Yeah, we'll still call it the 5. Well, it's been 5 years since I started it, so I'll say that, even though it wasn't a full year of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about this Project Wild 2018?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, this is big.
It was fun, yeah, it was good. What about it?
Tell me what it is.
It's an artist development program in Alberta, geared towards just helping the top 12. They picked 12 artists to help them develop their careers.
And but that's out of a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was a lot of people. I submitted the year before and didn't get in. And I thought I was getting in that year and I was really bummed out. I remember Ryan and I were in somewhere. I think we were somewhere else in some other city.
Yeah.
And I remember Nashville even, I think we were.
I was going to ask you about Nashville next.
Yeah, we were in Nashville and I was like, oh, I'm getting the call from someone that knew. And he said, no, Shayla, you were in the top 28, but you didn't make it past this next round. He wanted to let me know before the top 12 were announced, so I didn't get bummed out. And I'm like, thanks, man. I won't say who it is, just in case, whatever. But I said, thanks for telling me. And I was super bummed out, but I didn't. It was better to hear that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was 2017. So 2018, when I submitted my application, I did not think I was going to get in, but I was like, whatever. I'll just keep trying until I get in. I want to learn what they have to offer in this program.
Yeah.
I don't really fit the mold of what Project Wild is, maybe, but it seems like I kind of do. They're opening up, they're broadening their. I don't know how to say it.
Why do you mean by?
It's more like it seems like it's more like what's the word? I don't want to say pop country, but commercial country.
Yeah,
and less alternative country or whatever you want to call what I do. I just call what I do country because that's what it is. But a lot of the commercial country out there right now is more like pop.
Yeah,
it's and they know it themselves.
Yeah,
I think most of the girls and people I talk to, they're like, I don't want to play country. I want to play pop, but the only way I can get on the radio is if I play country.
Yeah.
Country.
Yeah.
So
they're playing the same thing, but just adding a little bit of a something on it to make it country.
A whole lot of something, but Anyway, so we I super bonded with all of my top 12. I went into it kind of nervous and scared and I'm so old and these People are all so young.
And were they younger?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like 10 years younger than
Oh,
me.
really?
At least.
I wasn't expecting
all
that.
young. There was a couple that were the same age, if not older, than me.
Yeah.
But of the 12 artists, I was maybe like the third oldest.
Oh, really?
And I was definitely the oldest girl. Like by 10 years. So I'm in the cabin with all these girls, and they're like, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I wonder how my kids are going back home. But I like loved every minute of it. It was super
because
fun.
it includes kind of a boot camp or something.
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
it?
a boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, the artist boot camp, and you take classes all day long, all kinds of stuff from. Oh my gosh, this is like everything you can think of that you need to develop your career. Like there was like voice lessons, there was social media classes, royalty classes,
Oh, nice.
all kinds of stuff, like everything
Really?
under the sun. Yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then at night we were recording all night long until
Oh.
2 a.m, and we were up. They blow like the foghorn at 7:30, like you're at camp.
Rude.
Maybe even 7. I can't remember. And we all had to run down to the big community hall and eat together.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, really good food.
Yeah.
And then off to our classes. So it was like a really busy. It was boot camp.
It was
like
boot
when
camp.
they call it
Yeah.
boot camp, it's like they set it up like boot camp.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There was lots of fun, and we were allowed to like mingle and drink and whatever, do our thing. So we all had a good time. But we recorded all night. Yeah, it was insane. So that. So I got in the top 12. I didn't get down to the top 3, but that's fine. I was actually going to apply again, because you're allowed to apply more than once. I was going to apply again last year, but then I actually had my application like mostly filled out when they said it's not happening, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to continue working on this.
No.
But I think it'd be really fun to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With your new album and your
My
new
new
stuff
album
that's going on.
and plus all the stuff I learned there and what they're looking for, and you win $100,000.
I know,
you win
right?
Top prize. And
Is that the one that
Mariel Buckley won it last year.
used to be my neighbor, Leroy?
Leroy
Is
won
that
it
the one?
before, but it was called Peak.
It was called something different.
It was called Peak Performances.
That's right.
Peak was the radio station. So it's sponsored by Wild whatever. It's a Calgary commercial country radio station.
Oh, okay.
Wild FM or something.
Okay.
And before it was Wild FM, it was Peak something else. It was more like a rock station. So Leroy won it. Yeah, he won it, and he built that studio.
Amazing
right
studio.
by our house. Yeah.
Yeah. We lived like 5 houses apart or something.
Yeah.
And Leroy lived like right across the street. And I can't play music at all. So, but I'll paint you.
Yeah, but Catherine's there, right? Now?
Yeah.
And you guys know each other from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll have to, we've sort of said we'll have to get together in like the summer or when we don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Totally. But, yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess I was thinking when I was sitting down and thinking about you and what we were going to talk about, and I was like, you remind me so much of Emmylou Harris.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really, that's so sweet.
Oh.
And funny that you say that.
Why?
Because I just wrote her a letter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just thinking about it on the way here because I was listening. Do you know the Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt album, the Trio album?
Yeah.
Just had it on the car. Love it so much.
Me too.
Pretty much every time it's on, I cry because it's so good.
Yeah. Oh, there's all amazing songwriters and voices.
Oh yeah.
And everything.
Just like So my friend Linda, I've met her through just like she heard me on CKUA, and she started chatting with me, and we keep in contact sometimes. And she tells me after a time of talking together that she is friends with Emmylou Harris from like in the 70s.
Oh, you're kidding.
And she met her at shows, and she has pictures of them together like through the decades, like at shows and stuff. She'd give her backstage passes and all that. So anyway, she said, I'm writing to Emmylou like I do every year, and I want to send her your album, and I want to buy it. Don't just give it to me. And I'm like, just have it. She's like, I'm buying it. So she bought to go along with it because she's going to read it, Shayla. Like, I promise. So I wrote it, and I cried, I did all the things. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that just happened. That was like 4 weeks ago or something that we did that.
That's so cool. Well, no, you definitely.
That's
and
so
I think
nice.
she's so beautiful too.
She's so beautiful.
She's like stunning, stunning. But well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you
and
so
chatting.
much for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. And where can people get your
new album when it's out?
Yeah, well, or what about even your past albums, like
well,
Spotify
they're up
or
on
something?
all the streaming platforms, and then if you
You'll-
want a physical copy, you can get in touch with me through all the ways.
All of the ways.
There's a lot
I know.
of ways. Yeah.
There is all the social media ways. If people can't find people these days,
I know.
they are not
So
trying
I just
very
put
hard.
my name in the
Yeah.
thing and find the thing, and you can find me.
Find the thing, you'll find the thing, you'll
Yeah.
find it. And then, we'll just wait for to hear your new album. But in the meantime, we'll keep enjoying your songs.
Thanks for all the questions, and it was fun to talk about my whole past.
Yeah,
I haven't done
that's
that
very
for a long
fun.
time. Going so far deep back into it because you and I have known each other for so long. So
Yeah, well, it's
pretty
funny
cool.
though. Like probably a lot of people, we know each other, but we're not in daily contact.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things in your life, thank God for social media, frankly.
Yeah.
I'm because I am kind of a shut in now. Like that's basically my. I
Yeah.
tried to go off. No, I did go off Facebook for 2 or 3 months or something, and I realized, and maybe this is terrible and shallow and whatever, but I realized it kind of is my connection to the world. It kind of is. I don't know what you're doing if I'm not on there, right? Because I am not seeing you every day, and when I see you, it's not like we can have a big chat and that's just not what happens. And so I find on social media, at least it kind of, I can keep abreast of a little bit of what's going on and be able to, send someone a message or whatever.
Totally.
But so for me, social media is kind of great. I mean, it has all the other things going on with it, but it is great also for promoting ourselves.
Yeah. We know there's bad things, but there's also good things.
There's really good things. Like that support to me is kind of huge.
Totally.
And like the love or whatever that you get online, honestly, it does make a difference.
It does.
So I don't know. So I'm back on Facebook. But it's funny, once you go away for I'm more on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go away for 3 months, like now I forget to check it. Like I just don't even look, forget.
That's good.
Yeah, so it's, and I'm going there. But Instagram, I like Instagram.
I do too. It's just easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
How is it with having kids and navigating that? I mean, I imagine
I just try to not have it near me, have my phone near me when they're around.
Yeah.
Like I do have to sometimes, I have to sometimes.
Well, especially promoting yourself.
Yeah, it's like crazy. And with my hair, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, we didn't mention you are also a hairstylist here in Lethbridge.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I got all these things. So I do have to look at it sometimes. And sometimes it's like I'm getting an important phone call at 6 o'clock because of the time difference. This is the only time this person can call me or whatever.
Yeah.
So they get it, but I just don't want them to always, I try to see through their eyes, and I never want to see through their eyes their mother just like this.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard when
so
you
I try
see
to
that,
think
isn't
about, when you see someone else doing it, you're like, get off your phone.
But
your kids are right there.
But you know what? Like what I do is not judge that anymore.
Yeah, no,
because I'm like, what if someone? It's even Paul and I will have been together the entire day, and so we're going out for supper, and we both check our phones because we've not, we haven't been able to check all day, but we've been together all day. So now we're checking. But I thought if anyone walks by, we just look like these.
Yeah, but you could be like checking your
bank
statement.
I know.
Like, it could be anything.
That's why we can't judge each other because we don't know.
It's hard,
Yeah.
But I just, like, as a parent that's, like, trying to monitor my child's screen time, I don't want to be the bad example because they just don't quite understand what we do, right? We don't understand that, like, I'm answering emails.
Yeah.
I'm not just, like,
playing a game.
Scrolling Facebook or scrolling Instagram, like mindlessly liking pictures, scrolling scroll, double tap. Like,
you'll still have to give it to her so she can just double tap.
oh
Give it to
yeah.
you.
So it's, you know, you just try to, just not have it be a double standard, because you just don't understand that it's like, I have to say it to Jackson, well, you're on your phone, because sometimes I am on my phone when I'm telling him to get off his, whatever I'm telling him to get off of, tablet, phone, TV, video games, computer, it's like, they're everywhere, right? Yeah. So you have to try, and I want to be a good example too, so.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you are. Thanks again.
Thanks, Laura.
Right,
it
cheers.
was really nice. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Yeah, we still have our live going. Ciao, ciao. There's Sarah Christensen.
Hi.